Welcome back to the Brantley Method. I am your host, Justin Brantley, and this is the Daily Huddle. I'm excited to continue to bring this to you. This is week 2 that we're doing this. For me, every single day is about getting 1% better than you were the day before. You're either going to get better or you're going to get worse every single day. There is no staying the same. So it's important for me to take incremental steps to eventually create monumental growth, and that's really what it comes down to me is, one step ahead of the other. It's not necessarily taking the big leaps, or it's not necessarily going from, beginning to completion of a project, but it's the journey in between that really, makes that journey and that project worthwhile, at least for me. And that's just the way that I've attacked my life and my career. So it's important for me to bring this daily huddle to you because literally, this is something that I do, within my own personal life. I do this with my manager within the Brantley Method. We sit down and we have these daily conversations. What are we trying to accomplish? What are we trying to improve on? What are we trying to make sure that we don't have happen again? Because that's part of life is, the obstacles, overcoming adversity. And that's what I want to talk about today. One of the things that I heard from a lot of coaches over the course of this weekend is they reached out to me to talk about, either players that I've evaluated or, players that I've worked with. They talked a lot about body language. So today we're going to talk about watching your body language, right? So, when you're around your mom or, for back in the day, if you walked into grandma's house, you weren't cussing. You probably weren't even going to use any slang. You were really watching and intentional about watching your language, around your mother and your grandmother because you didn't want them to be offended. And, in my household, you didn't want them to take their shoe off. So what a lot of these coaches are seeing, and let's take the profanity and let's take all of that off the table, right? Like I'm part of, stay off my lawn Twitter. So I'll tell you, like, I don't curse on Twitter. I don't believe that, players, when they're playing in a game, especially in front of college coaches, they shouldn't, curse, and they shouldn't. That is its own thing. That's its own conversation. Some people will say, hey, that's showing passion, whatever the case may be. I'm going to talk about nonverbal communication because depending on, depending on who you listen to, they'll tell you that 70 to 93% of all communication is nonverbal. So although, yes, there's things that you can say that can have a coach say, you know what, that's not my type of player. Also, your body language can have that coach say, you know what, this kid can't play for me. Whether it's, dropping your head after you, give your teammate the perfect pass and he missed the layup, or, just shrugging your shoulders and rolling your eyes and getting upset when coach takes you out or when coach makes a play, or just the way that you react to referees, whatever the case may be. Your body language is vitally important and can be extremely detrimental to your recruitment. So I think it's vitally important as you players. I mean, you're coming off of, weekend one of the live period. You're going to have another opportunity to play in front of these college coaches here in a couple days. Make sure that with each opportunity, you're getting better, right? So I'm not going to say that, because you had bad body language this past weekend, it's over for you. No. But if you realize and you understand that that's something that's been told of you, or that's something that your coach is bringing to you, or maybe because I'm saying it, you're thinking back on it, you're going to go watch some film and say, you know what, my body language could be a lot better. Let's improve on that, right? Let's make sure that you're complimentary of your player. If you give that assist and he doesn't finish it or she doesn't finish it, walk over and lift them up. Don't tear them down, right? Don't get frustrated. Don't get upset. Have that conversation. Hey, man, I need you to finish that one. And do it in a laughing, joking way. Hey, man, you're messing up my assist. Whatever the case may be, find a way to bring that level of positivity to everything you do. Find a way to carry yourself in a positive manner. Keep your head up at all times. Make sure your body language is an outward display of who you are internally. Make sure that coach walks away knowing that this player is somebody that can handle and deal with adversity. This player is somebody that, is not going to get frustrated throughout the course of the game, is going to have solid body language, is going to be a leader, is going to be somebody that his teammates or her teammates will enjoy playing alongside. These are big things. These are important things. I'll tell you, when coaches come courtside to watch you play, there's a few instances where they'll just find somebody, right? There's a few instances where they'll be there to watch somebody else and they'll just so happen to see you because you're balling. But in most cases, if that coach is coming to sit and watch your game, they already know who you are. They've already evaluated. And from a basketball standpoint, doesn't take much to identify whether or not somebody can play for you. It doesn't take much to identify whether or not somebody is good enough to play within your system. When these coaches say, hey, I want to see XYZ player play live, has nothing to do with your basketball ability, has nothing to do with your shooting capabilities. It has everything to do with how you carry yourself, your body language, those intangibles that always don't show up on film, but you'll be able to read them and see them and feel them in person. And that's what these coaches are looking for, because fit is more important than anything else. It's more important to make sure that you're bringing the right players into your system than girls and guys that can score, or girls and guys that can rebound, or guys that can make that highlight dunk. That's inconsequential. If you don't fit the system, if you don't fit the culture that coaching staff is trying to build, you're not going to be their type of player. So let's make sure going into this next opportunity to compete in front of college coaches that we're watching our language, and more importantly, watching our body language. All right, guys, it's another episode of the Daily Huddle. That was my recruiting assist of the day, to watch your body language. Any questions you guys have for me, we're going to do something fun this Friday. I'm going to do what's called a recruiting mailbag. Send me your questions. I'm going to read them. I'm going to answer them. We're going to talk about the things that you want to know, the things that are important to you, the things that can help you. And that's just not players. That's players, parents, coaches, whoever. As we head into this next live period, I want to make sure that I'm arming you with all the information that you need as you attack that process moving forward. All right, guys, again, this is Justin Brantley with the Brantley Method. Make sure you're following me on Twitter at Justin W. Brantley. Make sure you're subscribing to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to give you guys all the free game. It's important to make sure to not only subscribe, but to share with somebody that you think this message might resonate with. Share with your friends, your family members, your teammates, whoever is navigating through the recruiting process that could use an extra boost or use a little bit of education, guidance, direction, and inspiration. I appreciate you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this, and until next time.